We're going.
We're streaming too.
Facebook Live.
How do we know?
Uh,
What is up, everyone? Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Cass.
Happy New Year, Nick.
Glad to be back. We're making some adjustments to this podcast like we do every year. Work in progress, but, you know, we felt we should come to you even if it's still work in progress.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're not a work in progress, then what are you doing? You always have to improve. So
You are like a walking motivational quote board.
I do what I can.
All right. What we got going on this week? What's fantastic in the world of
All right.
franchising?
So, well, this isn't really franchising related, actually. But what's fantastic, so it's Girl Scout cookie season, which I don't know why they don't do it during the holidays, but that's a different point. They have this like new cookie that they're printing, like, you want to talk about being a walking, inspirational quote. They're like stamping little phrases on it. So it's trying to promote women leadership even more so than they already do. I mean, it's a cute idea, but I don't really think it'll make that much of a difference personally.
I want to ask your opinion on this because I think you'll give one.
Okay.
At what point does gender and leadership go away because it's just expected in today's world that a good leader, male or female, or gender neutral, it doesn't matter. A leader is a leader. How far are we from creating that, eliminating the segmentation of female leader?
I do have a couple of thoughts on this. I feel like we're probably farther than we may think. I feel very lucky. I've never lived in a world where I've ever felt that there was a qualification on me not being a leader because I'm a woman. Like, I was raised by a woman leader. I've always been surrounded by women who are bosses. I've never had a boss, male or female, that made me feel inferior because I was a woman. But I don't think that that's necessarily a situation that a lot of other people could say. So I feel like from my limited experience, we're there. But for other people, I'm hesitant to speak out as to how far away that might be.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, so my father was a very early adapter to this, and he was featured in our local newspaper in Oak Park on the cover for being a stay-at-home dad, and this would have been probably early 90s. Yeah, it was right when he was 40, so early 90s, like 90, 91. And at that point, it was a cover story for a newspaper because it was unheard of that the man would stay at home. So my mom was the leader of the family and the household when it came to the career and being the breadwinner. So if my dad in 91 is a news story, eventually, early 2000s, it probably goes away. So
right.
For the general population being raised or who's the breadwinner probably shifts in the early 2000s. In my opinion, that means we're probably 10 or so years away from just the general population having not having this predetermined opinion that men are the leaders of a household. So I don't think we're that far away, and I would imagine 10 years from now, because of the way that children are being raised, that the gender is irrelevant to who's raising the children. That shift could create a moment where those that are in leadership at companies don't have this preconceived notion that men are superior than women.
Yeah, no, I think that you're right, and I think that it's a good thing.
Celebrity.
So McDonald's new CEO decided to hop on the gram. So it could be something that other brands kind of emulate down the line now that Instagram, I mean, obviously it isn't going away, at least in the foreseeable future, is this tool that brands can utilize. But he's kind of using it as more of a forward-facing role rather than being this person that like no one really knows like what he's doing. He's just this like figurehead of this massive global entity. But it could be something that helps lead brands into more like personalized posts and like get to know me type things. Like I don't think it'll cross over into influencer levels, but could be an interesting experiment. Of course, with a public-facing CEO, you run the risk that if they do something dumb, the backfire is real. But I guess we'll see how it goes.
When they do something dumb, but
Yeah.
but to be fair, I mean, this is what we've pushed as a business. I mean, this has been our foundation that brands don't sell, brands people do, and the difference between good and great can be found in whether you've humanized it or not. So. Kudos to McDonald's for doing it. And if you look back at the history of McDonald's, you associate 2 human beings to it, maybe 3 if you want to throw Michael Jordan in on 80s commercials. But you associate 2 people, Ray Kroc, who they call as the founder, who is not the founder. The founders aren't even mentioned as founders, and Ronald McDonald. So the 2 human beings associated with the brand over the history of the world are human beings, right? In the way that they shaped Ronald McDonald, it gave them a character that created a voice. I think it's a great step. I don't think other brands are going to listen to it, especially the established brands. But kudos to McDonald's on that one. Cash money.
Agreed. Cash money. So in an unsurprising news, I think Impossible Foods is they're going to nearly double their R&D team, and then they're going to be speeding up new product releases. They should, and now is the time when plant-based is clearly having its moment. So I think it'll be interesting to see what they roll out. They're going to be doing like Impossible Pork and Impossible Sausage. So it's their first release of a new product since 2016, actually, which is when the Impossible Burger was announced. Which is crazy considering that I feel like 2019 was really the year that it blew up.
The whole plant-based trend is fascinating to me. The reality is plant-based has been around forever. It's just that we're manipulating products to that look like meat to taste like vegetables. I still think there's some stuff that needs to settle. For instance, I was considering, I was cooking for our family a few Sundays ago, and I was considering doing plant-based, and I looked at the fat and calories in the Impossible stuff, and it was much superior than turkey. So at some point we're going to have to settle on what is truly the definition of healthier for you. So I think it's going to be a good discussion. That also, this is going to sound crazy, but where plant-based is no longer a thing, it's just a part of the menu. I would imagine that could potentially beat the previous topic of when men are women and gender is no longer relevant. That I think plant, even though it came on faster, could be irrelevant. It could just be a part of everyday consumption. So.
Yeah.
Forward thinking.
So airlines are doing a ton to attract new customers. And I feel like a lot of these aren't like the standard American, United, Southwest that most of us consider flying in the States, at least. But a lot of brands are doing these like really bougie things to get people on their planes. So it's like people are partnering with like yoga companies and like doing flights that are all business class and like having virtual reality, like cool. But is this really going to be like a widespread thing moving forward? I don't know. Maybe it is. It'd be cool, I guess. But I just can't see people shelling out money when people are still willing to pay minimal dollars to fly Spirit and like have a bad experience. I think people would fly outweighs the perks.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Maddie and I were just talking about this. Maddie, who's producing this segment. Here's what I think. Like for the airline business, it's a necessary evil. Like you got to get places, so you got to take that transportation. When you think about the difference of price from first class to economy, it is quite significant in exchange for a little bit more legroom. You get on the plane earlier, and sometimes as long as it's over, I think, an hour and a half, you're getting a meal. And that meal, I promise you, is not worth $200. I would rather go to a steakhouse and have an amazing steak than that. But the flexibility, because people are still looking for value, is when somehow that price stays at the right range. That's why I go with Spirit, and I'll pay extra for my drink. So when the price gets standardized, and then some things get built in, like I want Wi-Fi. Let that be a part of the fee. Like, let me just pay the $14 automatically when I book my flight. Now, when a airline comes out and says free Wi-Fi, that will be innovative. When everybody gets a meal again, because that's how you used to fly. Everybody got the meal on the plane. If that came back, you got to look at the fuel cost. Obviously, that goes against it. But I think when you start building the perks back into what the fees are, and maybe raise the fees slightly so that everybody feels special. The point is, innovation in travel should be a topic. So, friend or foe?
All right. So if you're looking for a new job, Oscar Mayer is going to be hiring people to drive its Wienermobile, which I'm amazed is still a thing.
I am looking for a new job, by the way.
Oh, super. That bodes well for me. It's like apparently more demanding than one may think. The last time that they did this, there were like over 7,000 applicants. I don't know. I get it. It's like a thing that people can see, but how many people are really going to be pumped to go like take an Instagram of a hot dog car? Like, I don't know, maybe I'm in the minority, but.
Fresh out of college, maybe. You want to go drive around a Wienermobile.
Well, I'm saying if you want to drive it, that's fine. But it's like, as a marketing tactic, is this really working today? I mean, I guess if we're talking about it, so clearly I'm the fool, but.
I think you have Anthony Weiner drive the Wienermobile. It could sexually harass people all over the country.
Because that's what he needs, is a vehicle to get around more places.
I still think if Tiger Woods just would have come out, put the tattoos on, and Dennis Rodman the shit out of golf, like then when all that crap happened to Tiger Woods, it would have been like, okay. Like if Dennis Rodman did what Tiger Woods did. So what I'm saying is when you go through crisis, if you just own it and make that your personality, then I think less people are going to question it.
I like Dennis Rodman as a verb.
Dennis Rodman.
It's so true. Dude went to North Korea and we were all like, that adds up.
That adds up. That's normal. So what did I write about?
So you wrote about the fact that mobile is going 5G and it's going to make our phones more addictive than they already are, which is scary. So businesses need to get it together if they're not already thinking about mobile first. Yeah,
it's a fascinating topic. There's still some bullshit associated with 5G. When I went and bought this phone in November of last year, of 2018, I said, is this going to be 5G compliant? They're like, oh, yeah. And the truth is it's not. Like, technology still has to catch up to what we're delivering from a 5G standpoint. But if 5G is a conversation that basically is saying, what does a world look like when the Wi-Fi is as fast as you want it to be on this, wherever you are, then all of a sudden it starts disrupting other things. Like you don't need Wi-Fi in your restaurant. You don't need Wi-Fi in the lounges. You don't need Wi-Fi in your home because this ends up being it. And when this is the connected device that you show up at work and you put it on the dock and there's your screen, you go home, you put it on your dock, there's your screen, you put this in front of your big screen at home and it automatically puts it on the screen. You push this button and it displays it on there. Like it's already moving in that direction. So because this is going to bridge us and connect us to everything, which if we went back to one of our weekly sizzles years ago, this was a discussion on how this is going to be the central hub of everything that we do as humans. Everything will be managed through here. Well, we were correct on that. I mean, it wasn't brain surgery on how we predicted this. But because of that, and because we know that every single human being has this to their body, call it 90%. Eliminate old people, young people, and people that are like anti-technology. But this is close to their body. That means if brands can figure out how do I cut through all the clutter of content, because there's a crap ton of content out there, and deliver a message to this where people are, then they have a shot as a brand to drive sales or conversions by making sure that they're accessing this. So brands say, is my website mobile friendly? All right, that's bullshit. That's not where you start. That's not where mobile friendly is. Mobile friendly is much deeper than that. What is the experience your customers having in store, out of store, communicating with your brand? Are you active? So therefore, if I'm predicting, one, brands are going to have to basically create a text back model or a chat model so that you're always on, so you can answer your customers and engage with them. Two, we've talked about engagement on social. It's going to progress that we actually have to communicate with people if we're going to have a social media footprint. And then three, you got to make sure that your restaurant or your business is friendly like this. Go walk through one of these Amazon Go's, and it's going to train you everything that you need to know about this, and you start applying that to your business. You got a shot to be successful. 6 seconds left. Boom! Dropping the phone, not the mic anymore, because the phone is the new drop. Bam. All right, Cass, thank you for letting me go on my little whatever. Thank you for joining us in 2020. And I'm looking forward to some great things coming up. So,
agreed.
Cool.
Keep watching.
Keep watching.
Bye.
Later.